Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to Vinny the Axe. Today I thought I'd do something fun. I decided let's build a pedal board. But not only let's build a pedal board, but let's see if we can build a majority of a pedal board with the same brand pedals. So now I know that each pedal manufacturer makes some really good pedals and they make some really great pedals, and usually we mix and match them and we buy what we think best fits our style or what we just personally like the best. And usually it's 9 times out of 10 not all the same brand. Now, I did happen to look up at the pedal collection on the shelf the other day, and I saw all these jam pedals, and I decided, you know what, let's use them, put together a small board, and then run it in front of an amp and just see how it sounds, right? Just for kicks. And not to mention, knock the dust off of some of these things. I haven't played them in a while, so I figured, what the hell. So today, what I have here is I have a pedal train pedal board. This is I want to make sure I got the right one, the Classic Junior. And it's been around the block a little bit, but still in good shape, pretty much. And uh, it's being powered by a Voodoo Labs ISO 5, and underneath I have a secondary power supply to give me more connections, which is the pedal power times 4. Now, the times 4 you can actually run into another power supply and power it that way, but it's gonna draw from that and take up a spot. Or what I like to do is just run 2. Now that means I have to run 2 power cables, but I don't mind them. It's not like it's going anywhere anyway. So, and I had these mounted in here. This is on its own, on the brackets that are made for that Voodoo Labs, and this one's actually locked in with dual lock Velcro, which is the plastic Velcro stuff. I guess that was the sign for dual lock. Anyway, so I got this thing all set up. You'll notice underneath here is I have these 3M little like wire retainers, and I started using these last year. Instead of having all that stuff all just underneath there and quite the mess, I'm actually stuck these in some strategic points, I guess you could say, so I can run the power cables and then lock them down so they're not all hanging loose underneath the bottom of the pedal board, which I think is kind of cool. So anyway, so I'll show you what we have here today. So let's start. First of all, the tuner. This is a Korg Pitch Black, and this is a true bypass pedal, and it works good. I don't really have any issues with it. Are there some better ones out there? I prefer the TC Electronics tuner the best. I even have a Boss one that's not true bypass, but I have this one laying around, and it works fine. There's no issues with it, so what the hell. So now onto the jam pedal stuff. So what we have here is we have I think it was released last year or so, is the Fuzz Phrase Fuzz from Jam Pedals. And I did a little review on this, and I kind of admitted that I bought it because of the graphic. I just think it looks cool as hell. And that's why I like a lot of the Jam Pedals. They sound great too, but they look whimsical and fun. So anyway, so we got the Fuzz. We have the Harmonious Monk Tremolo. This is the first version, not the second version. I believe the new version has a tap tempo, but I'm not buying this again. It's a cool pedal. It works good. This is fine. I'm not like a big tremolo guy anyway, so I'm not spending any more money on tremolo pedals. But this was a collaboration between Jam and the guys from that pedal show, which I watch all the time. I love that show. Anyway, so we got that. Over here, now this pedal I really dig. Out of all of them on the table, this is, like, I have to say, my favorite. This is the Tube Dreamer, and this is from Jam. This is pretty much a tube screamer pedal, but what it has is it has an extra gain switch. So if you want more gain out of the standard circuit, you can get it here. And it goes into distortion, almost distortion pedal, I guess, gain, which is kind of nice. And it's got a pretty good sound to it, and it seems to jive with a lot of amps, which I kind of like. So we have that. Then we have this is one of the older Delay Llama delay pedals from Jam, and we're going to use this in conjunction with the Delay Llama Extreme, which costs a lot more than this one, has more features, a lot of features that I don't even really use, to be quite honest with you, on here. But again, I thought this was pretty cool. It allows for, I believe, an expression pedal. Yes, it does. It's got some extra connections on there, which we probably won't do today, but What we're going to do is we're going to kind of do a long delay into like a slapback delay, or vice versa, depending on how we feel about it. But that's going to go there. I think what we're going to do is we're going to wire all these things all together in series, and then um, and then run them in front of an amplifier. I could save the delays and put them into an effects loop, let's say through the Laney, but I think for this video, in the end, I think I'm going to run it into my modified Blues Junior. If you haven't had a chance to check out the video on the modified Blues Junior, I've done all kinds of stuff to it. It's not even in its own original housing anymore. It's in a lacquered tweed wide body cabinet with a greenback. So talk about, like, I guess, sacrilegious for a Blues Junior, but it sounds amazing now, and it's had some circuitry stuff that I did to it, and so it's really cool, and it's a really good pedal platform, I think. So anyway, so we're gonna do all that. So first thing we're gonna do is, I guess we're gonna figure out our pedal order, and even though this is true bypass, I really want to I want the guitar to see or hit the fuzz first. So I could do a couple of different things. Now, we could test it out and try the tuner first into the fuzz and then flip them and see if it makes a difference. Fuzzes are pretty finicky. Each one is different. So my thing is to kind of cut to the chase about it. We'll just run right into the fuzz first and then probably go into the tuner. What we could do is literally put the tuner after the drives, so that if I had it muted and let's say I was playing live or whatever, it would cut out a lot of the hiss and sounds from the pedal board itself, and also would kill out. It wouldn't kill out the trails on the delay if I, hit the mute. So if I was doing that live, but I think for this demonstration, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go fuzz first, and then we're going to go into the tuner pedal. So we're going to try to figure out some placement here, but I think we'll just kind of keep it simple. Sometimes I like to put the tuner kind of like at the top and out of the way from my foot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the camera down a little bit, because you don't need to look at my face, and then we'll sort this out a bit. So I think we could put this literally up here, but for right now I want to go into the fuzz first. So I think we're just going to put the fuzz there, right? That makes sense. It's pretty simple. It's right where it needs to be. Now I like to run the tremolo. Sometimes I like to run the tremolo before the overdrive and not after the overdrive. This way I'm not getting I'm getting a tremolo signal into drive and not into the reverse. So what I could do here is we could put this guy maybe here. I literally have room to put 4 pedals in the front, so this is actually going to be easier than what I'm thinking. I literally could just do this. We can get this set up just like this and have those 4 pedals here, and then I think I'm going to use this for my longer delays anyway. So I'm going to do a longer delay into slapback, not slapback into longer. So I think what I'm going to do is we'll probably get this guy somewhere over here, maybe, and then we'll put this cat right here, and then we'll just get that sorted. But that could work. I could run longer cables in a different kind of idea. I could literally take this guy and put this up here. Especially if I wanted to run this first, I could run right into here, down into here, and then move these guys here. It would give me more room for more pedals. But I don't have any more jam pedals, so this is kind of what we got. So I think literally what we'll probably just do is we'll put this guy there, and then we'll just take this one down here. And then we could even, if we wanted to make this aesthetically pleasing, we can kind of probably just put these 2 guys there. Also, if I was going to run this into an effects loop, and I had a long cable coming out of here instead of a 90-degree, it wouldn't be sticking off the board. And then obviously going to have a straight cable going into there if I wanted to run a loop. So I think that would just be a hell of a lot easier. Really, the idea is just to see how these guys all play along together, because I don't think I've ever had them all together on the same board. But I think we might go with this run. And then what I'm going to do is, I have a bag of George L cables that I made myself a long time ago. And then what we'll just do is we'll just pull some of these out, and we'll see what we're probably going to try to go with. Maybe we'll go with purple. We won't mix and match. We'll just go purple today. I like these. You just got to make sure that the connections are tight on them, because they do come loose after a while, especially being bent around and messed with. And all I do is really just slip this off here, make sure these are tight and they haven't come loose, and then just put the cap back on. If they are loose and I think they're suspect, I'll definitely recut the wire and redo the wire itself, but these are all tight. I went through them not long ago and I wanted to make sure they were all right, but that's what we'll do there. And then got a couple more purple ones in here. We should have enough, I think. So what we'll do is we'll kind of figure out what we got going on here. So like, I know that I'm going to have a short run here, so I'll just snap this guy in here. What I like about the George L cables, and again, I am not endorsed by them or anything like that, is that they don't take up a lot of room coming out of the pedal. They're not exactly like the pancake ones that are super flat, but they are, they're not that bad. And I like that they got the rubber caps over them so they don't like touch anything. And so we're going to find another small one, or short one, I should say. This will probably work. I'm going to run this guy. See if I have any more short ones. Yeah. Okay. We can run this guy into here. And run this into there. Now there's no, I'm going to bring the camera up so you can see me a second. There's no hard rule on where you put pedals. You put them where you like. If you like the way it sounds, don't let anybody tell you any different. But there are some kind of basic rules to do. Usually you try to get your delays after your drives on a pedal board. Some people like them reversed. Like I said, there's some basic rules, but if you don't want to follow them, you don't have to. I really like top jacks. I don't like side jacks. Getting spoiled with some of the ones on the Strymon pedals. So now I'm moving this down because already, and these do stick out. Like they're not as bad as some other ones, but they do stick out a bit, so you lose a lot of space. Some guys are masters at putting these things together and jamming everything real close. And then ideally, this would be cool to have like a looper pedal so that they're all isolated. But obviously, we don't have one today, so we're just going to run it like this. Now, here's the trick of trying to get this to jump from here to here. Normally, if I was running these in the effects loop, this wouldn't be an issue. I would run the loop into these two, and then this would run to the front of the amp, guitar here, front of the amp, and then that would be solved. But being that I'm going to run them all in line, we'll see if I know I have some longer ones here. Just going to make sure that these guys are tight. And tight. Let's see how long this one is. This should work. So we're going to put this in here. We'll tuck this down in here. We'll probably bend this way. And let's see if it'll reach. And of course it's not. So what we're going to do is we're just going to move this guy over. The shorter lengths you can get away with, the better off you are, of course. There we go. That'll work. That doesn't look too bad. This one is shorter. So maybe what we'll do is take this guy out. We'll use this one. Slightly shorter. Perfect. Okay, and that'll stay down like that. I could tuck it up underneath as well. I could pull this around if I want to make it super neat and bring it up. But being that, you know, I paid for the colors, I don't mind showing them. It's not a big deal. Like I said, I could tuck these down in here or have them popped up. It doesn't really, whatever. Okay, so let me bring this down a second again so you guys can see what's going on here. Actually looking at this backwards anyway, so we'll just keep this on my mug. Yeah. And we got one more connection to do, which is pretty simple. Got a short cable, and we are going to go from, actually we need slightly longer. We're going to go from out into this delay. And I have reverb on the Blues Junior, which I have modded. So it has a nice delay and it's not overboard nutty. And that should work out pretty good. I don't like how this looks, but there's not much I could do with that. I guess we'll just leave it like that. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to go guitar into the fuzz, tuner, tremolo, the overdrive, and the 2 delays into the front of the amplifier. Get this down here. And then now we got to run power. So let me clean this stuff up here. And we got some power cables. Normally it's easier to run the power cables when you don't have the pedals on the board, but then if you don't know where the placement is, it's kind of like a pain in the neck to try to figure out. So hopefully try not to put too much weight down for a long time on those pedals, but being that they get stepped on, probably not that big of a deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the 2 delays off of the ×4. These don't take too much power, so I'm going to try to use right angles if I can on the pedals themselves so they don't stick out. And run these 2 guys in here. And so this one's kind of weird because the power's on the side, like an MXR pedal. And we'll just tuck this down. Well, let me get this plugged in first. Let me get this guy here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to pull these through, and I'm going to try to figure out what's the best way to tuck these things in. So all I'm going to do, like this one, I try not to pull them tight so you don't break any connections. I don't really roughhouse with them. I'm going to put this one in here like this, and I might even be able to tuck this one here. I don't know if you can see on camera, but it just makes it a little bit easier. I'm going to take some of the slack and just move it around so that's not pulling on it. And then so there's our 2 connections right there. And then so what we're going to do is we're going to run, I'll try to keep this standing up here so you guys can see this. I'm going to start from front to back. So I'm going to put this one here, and we're just going to go right to, and again, this jam pedal has got the plug on the side, which is down here. Okay. Don't like how that, I guess it's not putting pressure on it, but okay. So that one's done. And what I'll do is I'll tuck this one now and just figure out where I'm going to put it, or clip it there. That looks good. I'm going to go to the next one. Let's see here. It's not going to take too long, and then this should be fun. I'm going to plug this in here. We're going to run this up to the top. I think this is a top powered. Nope, it is not. It's powered by the side again. So probably going to come up underneath on this one and plug it in right there. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to do that on this one too. I'm going to bring this up and through. Okay. Okay, those 2 are powered. Now I'm just going to tuck this down in here somewhere. So now I can bring this one here and over here. And that looks to be okay. And we're going to go, we got 2 more. This guy in here, another 9-volt section. This is going to go to the tuner, which I know is at the top. So I'm going to plug that in here. And then I'll just take this guy. Actually, I'm going to do this to make myself some room. Turn that way. And then turn this one this way. And this one could be tucked here. And we'll bring that one that way. And I'll just tuck this one down right there. It's not bad. And then last but not least, we'll take this guy here, and we're going to put this to the fuzz. I didn't realize all the jam pedals are on the side, the smaller ones. I've never had them all on the same board, I don't think, so that's probably why I don't know. But we'll get this one plugged in. Boom, there we go. And then we'll just tidy this wire up a bit. Again, this is nothing nutty. right? It's not any like world-class wiring, right? It's not a Bob Bradshaw rig. It's just trying to keep it somewhat neat so that the wires are not dragging on the ground. And okay, so we have everything, we got everything powered now. We got our fuzz, tuner, trem, drive, delay, and we'll get this all plugged in and get it set up on the amp and see how she sounds. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay, here's the guitar clean. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna let you listen to is the Tube Dreamer. Got it in the bridge position. Let's go to, before we start any of these other stuff here, I want you to hear this delay. Here's the short repeats. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to kick in both of them at the same time. Well, there was just a little sample of the pedal board in action. I had it plugged just straight in to the front of the Blues Junior, like I said in the beginning of the video, and I think it sounded pretty good. You know, normally I would mix and match. Don't normally put the same brand all together on the board. It depends on what I'm going for. But I was looking at them and I was like, you know what? Let's just try it. Anyway, so you got to hear a little bit of a sample of how it worked out with my Nash. And what I really liked was a combination of the fuzz phrase in front and pushing the Tube Dreamer. That sounded really killer with the volume rolled back on the guitar and kind of turned all the way up, I guess. So not a bad little board. It's probably not going to stay that way. I'm going to rip all those pedals off anyway and try different combinations. That's what makes this all fun. Anyway, if you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. It does help out the channel. It tells the YouTube algorithm something or other so that other people can see this video. Give it a thumbs up if you wouldn't mind. You know, just hit all that stuff at the bottom, bell icon thing, all of it. Anyway, stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching Vinny the Axe. Take it easy.